Good morning, students. How are you? I hope you all well. Okay, today we see about the last lesson in the 11th standard Swalology, chapter 12, Trends in Economic Swalology. First, zoology is a branch of science which deals with the study of animals for someone who is interested in pursuing a career in zoology. There are several specializations that the students can venture into. There are physiologists who study the metabolic process of animal. There are taxonomists who deal with the naming and the classification of animal species. Embryologists embryologist embryologists whose job is to study and focus on the early developmental stage of animal's life. Then zoology as a career as a number of specializations, and students are presented with a plethora of career options once they choose to be associated with this field. This field is concerned with the preservation and management of animal kingdom, and a career in it would mean that you are a part of that responsibility. A zoologist might even get to travel because the nature of his or her job. Channels like National Geographic, Animal Planet, and Discovery Channel are in constant need of zoologists for research and documentaries. Zoologists are also hired for zoos, wildlife services, botanical garden, conservation organization, national park, nature reserves, then universities, laboratories, aquariums, animal clinic, fisheries and aquaculture, museums, research, pharmaceutical companies, veterinary hospital, etc. These are all the needs and scope for the zoologist. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to learn the methods of culturing farm animals. For example, that poultry farming, dairy farming. These are also zoologist candidate can apply, and their importance since farm animals possess great economic value. Since the prehistoric time, human beings taken maximum advantage from the animal by keeping them under their control through domestication. The economic success of the industries based on animals and their product depends on the proper productions, management and development of next generations of farm animals. Okay, next we see about the scope of zoology. What is meant by scope? Scope of zoology means the zoology particularly what is the use of the studying the zoology, that is called as the scope of zoology. Studying zoology can provide self-employment opportunities and you can become an entrepreneur. Economic zoology is a branch of science that deals with economically useful animal. It involves the study of applications of animal for human welfare. The need of zoology is not just to improve our economic condition but also to provide food security and provide employment opportunities based on the economic importance. Animals can be categorized as animals for food and food product, economically beneficial animal, animals of aesthetic importance, animal for scientific research. The animals are for the economic importance. Animal can be categorized as animals for food and food products. நம்மளுடைய தேவைக்காக உணவுக்காகவும் அதிலிருந்து கிடைக்கக்கூடிய மீட்டுக்காகவும் எடுக்கிறதா அனிமல் ஃபார் ஃபுட் அண்ட் ஃபுட் ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ். தென் எக்கனாமிக்கலி பெனிஃபிஷியல் அனிமல் மீன்ஸ் it will be economically high cost, so that is called as the economically beneficial animals. Then animal of aesthetic importance. Aesthetic means natural. Okay, so that is called as the animals of aesthetic importance. Then animal for scientific research. Some animals are required for doing some scientific research, that is called as the animal for scientific research. So these are the scope of zoology. Zoology for the economic importance, these animals can be categorized as four group: animals for food and food products, economically beneficial animal, animals of aesthetic importance, then animals for scientific research. Okay, next we see about the sericulture. What is meant by sericulture? What is meant by sericulture? Sericulture means culturing the silk, that is called as the sericulture. Silk is nature's gift to mankind and a commercial fiber of animal organ other than wool, being eco-friendly, biodegradable and self-sustaining material. What is meant by eco-friendly, biodegradable? It will be easily degraded, that is called as the biodegradable. Easily degraded means easily break down that molecules, okay, that is called as the biodegradable. சீக்கிரமா மக்கக்கூடிய பொருள், so that is called as the eco-friendly and biodegradable. Silk has assumed special relevance in present age. Sericulture is an agro-based industry. Agro-based industry means agricultural-based industry. The term which denotes the commercial production of silk through the silkworm rearing. Historical evidences reveals that this sericulture was practiced in sericulture was practiced in China long back, and they are preserved the secret for more than 3000 years and maintained monopoly in silk trade with the rest of the world. That means China only introduced this sericulture method more, and it keep the secret. It cannot tell any other country to how to cultivate the silk. He keep the secret more than 3000 years and maintain the monopoly in silk trade with the rest of the world. Then according to the Western historian, mulberry cultivation spread to India about 140 BC before from China through the Tibet. The fabulous silk from China and India were carried to the European countries. China was the first one, then India is the second in silk production. India stands the second in silk production. So this fabulous silk that come from China and India were carried to other European countries. Then 7,000 mile lengthy road, historically called, that is called as the Silk Road, that passing through the Baghdad, Tashkent, Damascus and Istanbul. Underline that Silk Road passing through that Silk Road is passed through Baghdad, Tashkent, Damascus and Istanbul was used for the, why they put that silk, why they named as the Silk Road means through this route only they carried the silk. The silk transport will be carried on this road only, so that they called as the Silk Road. Today more than 29 countries in the world are practicing sericulture and producing different kinds of silk. India stands the second in silk production. Underline that. Next to China. China is the first, then India is the second. Okay. Nowadays more than in 3000 years back, only two countries are only cultivate the silk, India and China. Now 29 countries in the world are practicing the sericulture and producing the different kinds of silk. Okay, I understand. Then next, production of silk from the silkworm by rearing practices on a commercial scale is called as the sericulture. Already I said production of silk from the silkworm. எதிலிருந்து இதை தயார் பண்றாங்க? பட்டு புழு. Okay, that is called as the silkworm by rearing practices on a commercial scale, that is called as the sericulture. Already I said it is an agro-based industry that comprising three main components. What are they? First, cultivation of food plants for the silkworm, then rearing of silkworm, then reeling and spinning of silk. Okay, these are the three components. So what are the three components? Cultivation of plants for the silkworm. அந்த பட்டுப்புழு வளர்றதுக்கு அதுக்கு தேவையான ஃபுட் பிளான்ட்ஸை வளர்க்குறதா தான் கல்டிவேஷன் ஆஃப் ஃபுட் பிளான்ட்ஸ் ஃபார் த சில்க்வார்ம். தென் ரியரிங் ஆஃப் சில்க்வார்ம், அந்த சில்க்வார்மை வளர வைக்கிறது, தட் இஸ் கால்ட் இஸ் த ரியரிங் ஆஃப் சில்க்வார்ம். அண்ட் ரீலிங் அண்ட் ஸ்பின்னிங் ஆஃப், நவ் தட் silkworm get matured means that spinning process has done on the silkworm. So these are the three components that can be maintained in the agro-based industries. Okay, the first two are agricultural. First two means, what are the first two components? Cultivation of food plants for the silkworm and rearing of silkworm. These two components are the agricultural component, and the last one is an industrial component. Because இப்போ என்ன பண்ணிட்டு அந்த பட்டுப்புழு நல்லா வளர்ந்துட்டு திரும்ப அதை வந்து மில்லில் கொண்டு போய் அந்த ஸ்பின்னிங் மில் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில் கொண்டு போய் பிரிக்கிறது. ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் கால்ட் as the industrial component. Okay, first two are the agricultural component, then the last one is the industrial component. Only few species of silkworms are used in sericulture industry. All the types of silkworms are not used in sericultural industry. Only few of them are used in the sericultural industry. What are they? See the table 12.1, different types of silkworm. First species of silk moth. Okay, the Bombix Mori. Bombix Mori, then Anthrea asmansis, then Anthrea mylitta, then Attacus resini. Okay, so silk producing state. Bombix Mori is used in Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Preferred food leaves mulberry leaves. Okay, type of silk mulberry silk. Then Anthrea asmansis. Here it is used in Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh and Manipur. Preferred food leaves chamba. Type of silk Muga silk. Okay, the next one is Anthrea mylitta. Here the silk producing states are West Bengal, Bihar and Jharkhand. Then preferred food leaf is Arjun. Okay, this type of silk is called as the Tazar silk. Then Attacus risini. Here it is used in Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh and Manipur. That Anthrea asmansis and Attacus risini both are used in the same states. Here the leaves are castor. Then the type of silk is eri silk. Okay, type of leaves, the preferred leaves means that silk moth eat these leaves only. So that here the preferred leaves, food leaves. This preferred food is used for this moth. Okay. Then see the figure 12.2, different types of silkworm. First one is mulberry. Mulberry means Bombix Mori. Okay. Then next one is eri. Eri silk means castor leaves. Okay. Attacus risini. Then Muga. Then Tazar silk. Okay. These are the different types of silkworm. Then next one is life cycle of Bombix Mori. Bombix Mori is used in Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Then here the adult of Bombix Mori is about 2.5 centimeter in length. Underline that. How much length? 2.5 centimeter in length, and it is colored. Color is pale creamy white in color. Okay, color is pale creamy white in color. Due to the heavy body and feeble wings, flight is not possible by the female moth. This moth is unisexual in nature and does not feed during its very short life period of 2 to 3 days. Okay, it just live only 2 to 3 days. Just after the emergence, male moth copulate with female for about 2 to 3 hours, and if not separated, they may die after the few hours of copulating with female just after copulation. Okay, females start egg laying, which is completed in 1 to 24 hours. A single female moth lays 400 to 500 eggs depending upon the climatic conditions. Okay, so that here it is length is about 2.5 centimeter. Its color is pale white cream color. Then due to heavy body, it is very heavy body and feeble wings. Here it not be flight. It not be flight. This moth is unisexual. What is mean by unisexual? Okay, separated. Male moth are separated and female moth are separated in nature. Okay, and does not feed during it is very short life period. Okay, just after the emergence, the male moth that coupled with the female for about 2 to 3 hours. If it is not separated after coupling means they may die. Okay, so that just after copulation, the female start to lay the egg, which is completed in 1 to 24 hours. They lay the egg. A single female moth lays 400 to 500 eggs depending upon the climatic conditions. Okay, then next, two types of eggs are generally found, namely diapause type and non-diapause types. Okay, two types of eggs are there. One is diapause type and another one is non-diapause type. The diapause type is laid by silkworm inhabiting the temperate region. Okay, only temperate region only they lay diapause type of egg, whereas silkworm belonging to the subtropical regions like India lay non-diapause. In India, they lay the non-diapause type of egg. The egg after 10 days of incubation. What is meant by incubation? They maintain in one particular temperature, that is called as the incubation. Incubation hatch into larva called as the caterpillar. Okay, then next after incubation, that egg will be converted into the caterpillar. The newly hatched caterpillar is about 3 millimeter in length. Okay, the newly hatched caterpillar is about 3 millimeter in length and is pale yellowish white in color. Okay, yellowவும் whiteம் கலந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு கலர். Okay, the caterpillars are provided with well developed mandibulate type of mouth parts adapted to feed easily on the mulberry leaves. Okay, then after the caterpillar formation the mouth part will be developed. Why? Because it easily feed the mulberry leaves. After one first, second, third and fourth molting, caterpillar get transformed into second, third, fourth and fifth instars respectively. See the figure 12.3. This is the life cycle of Bombix Mori. First the cocoon will be formed. Cocoon means that is called as the egg. Then the cocoon shell cut open. Okay, now that cocoon shell will be opened. See the uppermost figure, that eggs, then eggs and then first instar, second instar, third instar, fourth instar, fifth instar. After that fifth instar only the cocoon will be formed. Then cocoon form, the cocoon cell cut open, then pupa will be formed, then matting or coupling will be formed, then again eggling. In matting and coupling both male and females are joined. Okay, if it is not separated means it will be die. Then after the coupling 1 to 24 hours to take the laying egg. It lays about a single moth lay 400 to 500 egg depending upon the climatic condition. Okay, so it is a life cycle of the Bombix Mori. Then it takes about 21 to 25 days after hatching. The fully grown caterpillar is 7.5 cm in length. It develops the salivary glands, stop feeding and undergoes pupation. The caterpillar stop feeding and move towards the corner among the leaves and secrete a sticky fluid through the silk gland. The secreted fluid come out through the spinneret and take the form of long fine thread of silk which hardens on exposure to air and is wrapped around the body of caterpillar in the form of covering called as the cocoon. Okay, then the sticky fluid only formed as the cocoon. It is a white colored bed of pupa which outer threads are irregular while the inner threads are regular. The length of continuous thread secreted by a caterpillar for the formation of cocoon is about 1000 to 1200 meters, which require 3 days to complete. The pupal period lasts for 10 to 12 days and the pupa cut through the cocoon and emerge into the adult moth. Okay, the pupal period is lasts for 10 to 12 days. Then after that the pupa cut through the cocoon and it emerge into the adult moth. On the basis of the mold which they undergo during their larval life, Bombix Mori is divided into 3 races: trimolter, tetramolter and pentamolter based on the volatilism, that means the number of broods raised per year. 3 kinds of races are recognized in mulberry silkworm: univoltines, 1 brood only; bivoltines means 2 brood only; and multivoltines means more than 2 brood. Okay. Then next we see about the India has the distinction of producing all the 4 types of silk, that is the mulberry silk, tussar silk, eri silks and muga silk. Okay, India cultivated all the 4 types of silks. Among these 4 types mulberry is the highest number. Okay, so which are produced by different species of silkworm. Name the species that produce the large amount and least amount of silks in India. Then next we see about the cultivation of plant for the silkworm. Okay, now what are the plants to be cultivated for that silkworm? The first component is to grow the food plants for the silkworm. The main component is grow the food plants for the silkworm. Mulberry leaves are widely used as a food for the silkworm Bombix Mori, and the cultivation of mulberry is called as the Mori culture. Okay, அந்த பாம்பிக்ஸ் மோரிக்கு தேவைப்படக்கூடிய that essential food is called as the mulberry. That cultivation of growing of mulberry is called as the Mori culture. Okay, presented improved mulberry varieties like Victory 1, that is S36, G2 and G4, which can be withstand various agroclimatic and soil conditions, are used for planting. The favorable season for cultivating of the mulberry plant is, the mulberry plant cultivated month is June, July, November and December. Underline that. The mulberry crop production The mulberry crop production technology include land preparations of cutting, planting technique, maintenance of mulberry nursery, disease and pest management, and uprooting for raising the new mulberry garden. This mulberry is also being grown as tree plant at a height of 123 to 152 centimeter with 20 into 20 centimeter or 25 into 25 centimeter spacing to harvest the better silkworm cocoon crop. Okay. So for the cultivation of food plants for the silkworm, we cultivate the mulberry plant. So that cultivation of mulberry is called as the Mori culture. Here it is improved mulberry varieties like that Victory 1 S36, G2 and G4. These are the varieties of mulberry variety. Then these are withstand various agroclimatic and soil conditions are used for planting. The favorable season that for cultivate the mulberry is June, July, November and December. Okay. Next we see about the rearing of silkworm. Now we cultivate the food plants for silkworm. Okay. The next component is rearing of silkworm. Okay. The three components are there. What are they? Cultivation of food plants for the silkworm, rearing of silkworm, and the last one is, what is the last component? The third component is reeling and spinning of silk. Okay. The first two components are the agro-based agricultural component, and the last one is industrial component. Okay. Next we see about the rearing of silkworm. Here the second component is the rearing of silkworm. A typical rearing house 6 meter into 4 meter into 3.5 meter is constructed on an elevated place under the shade to accommodate 100 DFLs. DFLs means disease-free laying. Okay. Then space of 1 meter should be provided surrounding the rearing house. Sufficient windows and ventilators, then light will be provided for that rearing. Then circulations of air inside the rearing house. The windows and ventilators should be covered with the nylon net to restrict the entry of oozy flies and other insects. Okay. The windows are covered with the nylon nets. Why? To prevent the entry of other organisms, other living organisms. And then apart from the specialized area of the rearing house, the following appliances such as hygrometer, power sprayer, rearing stand, foam pad, wax coated paraffin paper, nylon net, basket for keeping leaves, gunny bags, rotary or bamboo mountages and dryers are needed for the effective rearing of silkworm. The steps involved in rearing process of silkworms are disinfection of rearing house, incubation of eggs, breasting, young larval rearing and late age larval rearing. The selected healthy silk moths are allowed to mate for 4 hours. Only selected healthy moth is allowed to mate. That mate are coupled for 4 hours. Female moth is then kept in a dark plastic bed. After the mate or copulation, female moth is taken and kept in a dark plastic bed. Why? Because it lays the egg. It lays about 400 eggs in 24 hours. The female is taken out, crushed and examined for any disease. Only certified disease-free eggs are reared for the industrial purposes. Okay. It will be the female moth is allowed for the mating process. Then after that mating, the female moth is kept in a dark plastic bed. Why? It lays the egg. Okay, it lays 400 egg at 24 hours. In 24 hours. Then after that the female is taken out, crushed and examined for any disease is there. Only the disease-free eggs are only allowed for the industrial purposes. So that only that examination will be held. Okay. Then the eggs are incubated in the incubator. The small larvae hatch between 7 to 10 days. These larvae are kept in trays inside a rearing house at temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. Underline that, to 25 degrees Celsius. இப்போ அந்த முட்டையில் என்ன பண்ணுறாங்க? It will be incubated. ஒரு particular temperatureல வைக்கிறாங்க. Okay. For about 7 to 10 days. இதுக்கு the larva will be formed. Then after the larva will be formed in the rearing house, that will be kept in a temperature about 20 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. These are the first fed on the chopped mulberry leaves. Okay. After 4 to 5 days, fresh leaves are provided. அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் என்ன பண்ணுறாங்க? The new leaves are provided to that larva. Okay. Then as the larvae grow, they are transferred to, now they transfer to the fresh leaves on clean trays. After 4 to 5 days fresh leaves கொடுக்குறாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த லார்வா வந்து வளர்ந்ததுக்கப்புறமா it will be transferred to fresh leaves on clean tray. Next tray, it will be passed to the next tray. When fully grown, they spin cocoons. Okay, after eating that mulberry leaves, they fully grown and it forms the cocoon, spins like a cocoon. They are maturity. Now they attain the maturity stage. Their maturity is achieved in about 45 days. Okay, maturity is attained about 45 days. At this stage, the salivary glands, that is the silk gland, salivary gland of the silk moth is called as the silk gland, starts secreting the silk to spin cocoon. Okay, from that gland only it secrete the silk to spin as the cocoon. Okay, next stage is post cocoon processing. The method of obtaining silk thread from the cocoon is known as the post cocoon processing. This include the stifling and reeling. Okay, the post cocoon process, the method of obtaining silk thread from the cocoon is known as the post cocoon process. This include the stifling and reeling. The process of killing the cocoon is called as the stifling. Okay, process of kill, now the cocoon will be killed, that process is called as the stifling process, underline that. Then the process of removing the thread from the killed, now the cocoon will be dead, then the process of removing the thread from the killed cocoon, that is called as the reeling. So stifling and reeling is done. For reeling silk, the cocoons are gathered about 8 to 10 days after spinning had begun. The cocoons are first treated by steam or dry heat to kill the insect inside. The cocoons la enna pandranga, it will be heated or steam. Why? Some insects are inside the cocoon. For killing that insect, we have to heat or steam the cocoon. Okay, this is necessary to prevent the destruction of continuous fiber by the emergence of moth. The cocoons are then soaked in hot water. After that, the cocoon will be soaked in a hot water. That hot water temperature will be 95 degrees Celsius to 97 degrees Celsius. For how many minutes they will be soaked? 10 to 15 minutes to soften the gum that binds the silk thread together. This process is called as the cooking process. The cooked cocoons are kept in hot water and the loose ends of the thread are caught by the hand. Threads from the several cocoons are wound together on spinning wheel to form the reels of raw silk. Only about one of the silk of each cocoon is reelable. The remainder is used as a silk waste and formed into spun silk. Raw silk thus is obtained processed through several treatments to bring about the luster on the thread. Okay, this is the process of post cocoon processing. Okay, next we see about the box. New Silkworm Diet produces the colored silk. The Institute of Material Research and Engineering (IMRE) in Singapore has developed the way to replace the traditional dyeing process necessary to make the colored silk. A simple dietary change, feeding a diet of mulberry treated with the fluorescent dye. Okay, instead of that feeding the mulberry, they give fluorescent dye for the silkworm larva and they are able to produce the silk in a variety of colors. The color directly integrated into the fiber. Okay, then now the color will be directly integrated into the fiber. Next we see about the uses of silk. Silk fibers are utilized in preparing silk cloth. Silk fibers are now combined with other natural or synthetic fiber to manufacture the cloth like terry silk, cotton silk, etc. Silk is dyed and printed to prepare ornamented fabric. They are generally made from the silk or spun silk. Then silk is used in industries and for military purposes also. Then it is used in the manufacture of fishing fiber, parachute, cartridges, bag, insulation coil for telephone, wireless receiver, tires of racing car, filter fiber in medical dressings and as switcher material. Okay, the color the silk will be used. Okay, next we see about the disease and pest of silkworm. disease and pest of silkworm. Here, the profitable silk industry is threatened by various diseases caused by the virus, fungal, bacteria and protozoan infection, but also by insect predator, birds and other higher animals. Ants, crows, kites, rats feed upon silkworms, thereby causing a great loss to silk industry. Okay. Sometimes some viral fungi, bacteria, protozoan also affect the silk. Pebrine is a dangerous disease to silkworm and the causative organism is Nosema bambicis. Underline that it is a protozoan. This silkworm disease is transmitted through the egg of mother silkworm and also through the ingestion of contaminated food. இது வந்து மதர் சில்க்வார்ம்ல இருந்து டிரான்ஸ்மிட் ஆகலாம் ஆர் it will be transmitted through the contaminated food. Then flackery generally occurs in the mature larvae and is caused mainly by the bacteria like streptococcus and staphylococcus bacteria. Okay, then next, the Gracile is a most dominant and serious viral disease. It is caused by Bombix Mori nuclear polyhedrosis virus BMNPV. Underline that, a baculovirus which belongs to a subgroup A of the Baculoviridae. Among the fungal disease, white muscardine is common. This disease is caused by the fungus Beauveria basnea. Okay, so these are the diseases that caused in the silkworm. Okay, student, have you all understand? Okay, today we see about what is the trends in zoology. We see about the new lesson, that last lesson, 12th lesson, the trends in zoology. Okay, then what is the scope of zoology? If we study the zoology means we have to have to become an entrepreneur. What is meant by entrepreneur? You have to become a businessman or businesswoman. Okay, so here the economic importance, according to the economic importance, the animal can be categorized as 4 groups. One is for animal for food and food product, then economically beneficial animals of aesthetic importance, then animal for scientific research. Okay. The next we see about the sericulture. What is meant by sericulture? Culturing or rearing of silkworm is called as the sericulture. Then cultivation of mulberry is called as the Mori culture. Okay, this sericulture was first started in China. Then he didn't tell the secret how to cultivate the sericulture to other countries. He keep the secret more than 3000 years ago. Okay, then afterwards only India started to cultivate the sericulture. India started to cultivate the silkworm. China stands the first in silkworm production and India stands the second in silk production. Okay, he construct a road. That road is called as the Silk Road. Why they put the road means that during that time they transport the silk through this road, so that road name is called as the Silk Road. Okay, after that 29 countries in the world are practicing the sericulture and producing the different kinds of silk. Okay, the next we see about the 3 components of this sericulture. It is a agro-based industry, comprise 3 components. What are they? First is the cultivation of plants for the silkworm, then rearing of silkworm and reeling and spinning of silk. Okay, these 3 are the main components. First 2 components are the agricultural component and the last one is the industrial component. Okay, next we see about what are the different types of silkworms in our India. Okay, first is Bombix, Mori, Anthria, Asmansis, Anthria, Milita and Attacus ricini. These are the varieties of species of different kinds of species of silk moth. Next we see about the life cycle of Bombix Mori. Here it is the adult of Bombix Mori length is about 2.5 cm in length and it is a pale creamy color. Then when it is matched with the male, female is matched with the male, it will after mating it will not separated means they will be die. Then the single female produce more than 400 to 500 egg depending upon the climatic condition. Okay, these are the major points in the life cycle of the Bombix Mori. Okay, then the egg will be classified into 2 types. One is diapause type and another one is non-diapause type. Here in India non-diapause type of egg only they laid. Okay, this diapause type and non-diapause type is depending upon the climatic condition. Then we see the life cycle of Bombix Mori egg. Then egg is formed into how many and shape structure, then first instar, second instar, third instar, fourth instar, fifth instar. After that fifth instar it forms the cocoon. Then after that cocoon formation the cells will be cut open, then pupa will be formed. Then after that pupa mating will be occurred. Mating means both male and female copulations will be held. Then after that egg laying, the female start to produce the egg. 1 to 24 hours they take for producing the egg. Okay, so this is the life cycle of Bombix Mori. Then next we see about the cultivation of food plants of the silkworm. Cultivation of food plants of the silkworm. Then what food plant we cultivate? We cultivate the for Bombix Mori we cultivate the mulberry plant. Okay, so that cultivation of mulberry plant is called as the Mori culture. Then rearing of silkworm. Then after that rearing, post cocoon processing is held. Then after that reeling and stifling and reeling process will be held. Okay, so this is the then uses, we see about the uses of silks and disease and pest of silkworm. So this is the sericulture. Have you all understand? Okay student, next class we see about the lag culture. Okay, are you all preparing for your exam? Okay, don't waste the time, sit and study that second lesson, zoology second lesson, full questions. Study the interior question also. Okay, thank you students.